doing things for the first time. This, I think, that might have been like what, like our third time maybe doing it
Yeah.
together. And the other bro, it was his first time, and the other bro was his first time. And so ceremony's going off, and this time, remember, we used to just take medicine, and then the bro, he pulled out the scale, and it was like, all right, man, like, we'll show you what it was. And it was like 20 plus grams on the scale. And it was like, damn, like, kind of wish we didn't see it that night, just because we never measured how much we actually took. And everything was going fine. And then, like you said, out of nowhere, just boom, and then it starts off with the bro, just slowly saying the N-word, and then it starts getting louder and louder and louder. And then he's just screaming at the top of, his lungs. And I always tell people, like, you got, three other bros in here, or four, and it's like, one's an experienced professional fighter. You got one who's a Navy SEAL veteran. You got LT, you got me. And it was just popping off. And I was scared because I was like, dude, the other bro, he's just like, come on, man. Like, let me do it. Let me just knock him out. And I'm like, this is not what we're here for. Like, I didn't even come in here tonight, expecting that to happen. And then, just him going off, and then the other bro kind of taking off. And then when I had to tell you, I was like, dude, Mark, he's not there. He's like, worried, whatever. And kind of need your assistance. And I'm glad that we pulled through as a group, despite the chaoticness we experienced that night, and the things that could have happened if I feel like there wasn't the right procedure or fortitude to handle that, because I feel like if that was somewhere else, it might have got pretty hairy, or like someone might have got hurt, or just might have just turned out not good.
Yeah, people might have left the scene and kind of abandoned where we were
Right.
able to, even through it in that space, very heavy, extremely heavy space, feeling the reverberations of the words like to our bones. Like that's what I remember. Like the words hit like every part of my body, and it felt like the whole
Right,
valley
it
was
was
waking up.
different. Right, it was
You know.
different. Like, you and I both heard, the N word a lot, and it's like that point, it was different. It was way different. Like you said, I thought, cops were gonna be called. I thought people were gonna come over here. And I was like, dude, this was yeah, it was crazy. Gone. He was just screaming the N-word, bro, over here, like the top of his lungs. And I had him and another bro, and it's pretty hairy. But overall, we came through. Everyone pulled through. My boy laid in the fire. He didn't get burnt at all. It was like
Just, just laying on those coals, just
for
straight
real.
up. Yeah, it's crazy.
And I'm just thankful for that, because I felt like if I had some other group, it might not have been handled situational. Like, it would have probably went south. So I'm glad it turned out good. And it shows me too that with the right fortitude and assertion and communication, I think it can be handled. But definitely people need to take care of business in themselves before coming here, if they
For
don't
sure.
understand how these ceremonies can potentially be chaotic and, high seas, so to say, if people don't take care of themselves, right?
Yeah, and the other thing I'll say is like that was one of the tougher experiences, and it set off a chain as well for other experiences where sometimes you drop in, it shakes things up, right? And but at the same time, like, had I not gone through those different levels where someone could easily say like, oh, that was a bad trip. No, it's a necessary experience, and that necessary experience gave me a perspective of empathy with people in like extremely like darker situations than I've had to personally deal with, right? Because we've all have our level of our darkest situations, but there's always some people who deal with maybe darker stuff or different stuff that is like, you get it, like pain is pain to a degree, but there's different dimensions of pain, there's
Right.
different dimensions of suffering. And so I got to experience that while being sober minded, having that sober minded, 60,000 foot bird's eye view perspective of myself, also going through that crazy, like depressed energy, like really low, dark energy, feeling like sometimes if God said like, Mark, I don't like you. You know, I just don't.
Mhm.
You know, the only reason I made you exist is because I want you to know that I don't like you, and I'm gonna flutter your consciousness in and out of existence just to know that I always hated you, and I and I never liked you, and everyone's gonna think you're like the biggest piece of shit for this whole experience type of thing. And I was just like, whoa, this is not like what did I do to deserve this? This is horrible.
And that white guy.
You know, but that's like people can put a lot of different language to it, but that's what I would say is like meeting demons, meeting like you're meeting a dark energy that's testing you, and no, it's not work for everybody. You know, it's not like meeting your demons, meeting other people's demons, or meeting just demons that are or entities that are have that dark energy is it's not light work, you know. But also there's no way to fully process and heal beyond the resistance that that brings, and we're talking spiritual, right? Like, but demons exist in reality too. Like, it's like I hunted them, right, in various capacities. I've seen the eyes of a human being where there's something much darker, like, you know, controlling the scene there. And it's interesting because like in the warrior and the combat sense of like, hey, there's violence that you use to confront that, and that is a you know, that's a necessary tool sometimes, but not all the times. And I think, you know, since America has been at war for so long, people kind of lose sight of like there's a time for war, truly, right? Like a real one, to defend again your family, your land, the people that you love, the gifts that God has given us. There's a righteous reason for it. However, that is always should be a last resort, right? There's ways of meeting and confronting a demon or that dark energy, where you see it, you acknowledge it, you notice its presence, but you don't give it power, especially when you're connected to God and you're always grounded to God. Like, God is the ultimate, the most powerful. So whatever energy you're met with, nothing can overcome that. So it reinforced that relationship and strengthened it in new depth and to new dimensions for me as well. So not just that experience, but all of the difficult experiences, which for me in this work didn't really start till like after many dozens of times of, you know, having very positive, good experiences, difficult in their own way, but never like going to
Just straight there.
of, yeah,
Just whoop.
yeah, going to like, hey, you're gonna get abused, and like you're gonna get worked, right? You're gonna get spiritually jumped or whatever.
Dude, that's what trips me out on like the capacity of how you know, the Womkish is, you know, with the medicine. And you know, that's where I think we can get into the next topic about like you know, contrast from authentic practice